So there's a big difference when you're an ISTP woman and you're communicating with an ENTP versus an ENFP, like for dating or something, or when you're getting to know someone. So like I notice with ENTPs, the way they speak is more like TI, like there's not a whole bunch of emotion in it. So I feel like they're really good for like friendships and like intellectual conversation, and ISTP can learn a lot from ENTPs, like a lot. It's like probably the number one thing I love about them is just they have so much knowledge and brilliance in certain ways. Very valuable for an ISTP. But I noticed with ENFPs, when you're getting to know someone, like you don't even have to like meet them face to face, but just the personality, just the way the personalities vibe together, it just works. Like it just works. Like feeling, I don't know, you just feel really good. Like, and it's like an overall goodness feeling. Like, it's weird. You haven't even met someone and you're already like having these thoughts that, how do I say this? You know, thoughts, naughty thoughts. It feels good. And it's like, ENFPs are very appreciative of the ISTP, like just of everything. And even like the way you look, and they'll be like, oh, you're so gorgeous. And it's like, thank you for noticing, you know? Like ENTPs, in my experience, they're not that vocal about like appreciating you. Like I think that takes work for them. You have to like train them how to like be more vocal in appreciating you, or they'll give very short responses and then you're like, what do you mean by that? There can be so many meanings of that. But ENFPs, they're more like verbal, more just engaging, like in texting. You can feel their warmth, you can feel like their excitement, their positivity. It's just awesome. I strongly believe it is important to experience other types and date other types because there's a lot to learn from each type. But when you're ready to like settle down with someone, really build a life with someone, something that you want to last a very long time, I mean, I don't think anything can beat natural pair. And it takes maturity for sure. Like if I met my natural pair when I was 20, fail. So yeah, like I think this happens a lot with people, like, you know, they try for their relationships, and it's not for everyone, but like people are seeking out their natural pair, but a lot of the times they might find their like fake natural pair. Like for an ISTP, that would be ESFP. I say fake because they have FI parent. We want the FI parent, like we want it bad. ESFPs have that, so we get kind of like, I mean, tricked isn't the right word, but like we feel like we're getting the natural pair, but it's not really the natural pair. Because ESFP, they have NI inferior, like they have a strong need for freedom, just like us, but theirs is a baby function. And so, like, my second husband was an ESFP. We definitely had, you know, a pretty strong emotional bond. There was definitely love there and appreciation and all these things. And I think, like, as activity buddies, ISTP, ESFP are really cool. And if he didn't have all that extra stress in his life, our relationship probably would have lasted longer. But honestly, nothing's going to compare to the natural pair, ENFP, ISTP, for example. So, and I saw an example of, like, one of the things the ESFP needed was freedom. So when we had our resolution last week, that was something he mentioned. He's like, you know, I needed freedom, and that was one of the reasons he pulled away from me, because he realized, oh, I got myself into this marriage, and it's like, there's responsibility here for, like, her, but, like, I really need freedom. And then, yeah, ultimately, I think he felt trapped in the marriage, and it wasn't because of me. It was just, he has that need to be free. And I saw this play out in the last Love is Blind season. Well, I guess there's one going on right now, or it ended already, but the one before that, was it the UK? I don't remember. But there was an ESFP man and an ISFJ woman. That's a golden pair. They seemed like perfect together, perfectly matched. Like, he was all like, yeah, I want to marry you, you're awesome. And that's how I think my ex ISFP felt about me, you know, like, he felt I was awesome. He called me his angel and whatever, like, but in this Love is Blind thing, that ESFP did the same exact thing that my ex did. He was like, no, I can't do this. He needs freedom. And the ISFJ just felt blindsided. She's like, what? Like, you said you wanted this, and that's what my ESFP did, because I told him, I was straight up. I said, this is what I want in a relationship. Like, this is what I want. And he was like, yeah, me too. But then he gets into it, and then he's like, wait a second. No, I don't want this. Yeah. So that's a struggle for an I inferior. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I just don't see it working out with any other type. Like, maybe ESTJ, but we're shadow types. And it's like, when you're dealing with someone that's your shadow, like, they kind of get on your nerves. Like, my mother's an ESFJ, but she's a 2, an Enneagram 2, which is the shadow type of the 4. She gets on my fucking nerves. Yeah. Anyway. And ENFPs, they have depth. They just have depth. They have, like, a strong value system. They really know how to value themselves. When you know how to value yourself, you also know how to value others. They're very accepting. Like, I feel like I can be myself and be adored for it. Who doesn't want that? So, yeah. So I think it's important, like, as you're growing up, progressing in life, like, experience other types so you can learn, like, your superego type, INFP, ISTP. That's an important relationship to dabble with a little bit. But I don't see that as, like, a long-term thing. I just don't. Because the superego is is like a deep, deep, deep shadow type. And they didn't used to get on my nerves until I was in relationship with some of them. And it just kind of, I was able to grow from it. And I don't know, I see them for more of what they are, like as far as they're like, you know, they really need power and authority. And some of them want to have power and authority over me, and it's like, no, no. And then just the whole thing where their ego does not respect your ego. And when you have a greater understanding of typology and how it works, like as an ISTP, I feel like we can be very reasonable and like forgiving and understanding, and like we can learn how to be flexible. But INFPs, I think it's easier for them to be stuck in their ways with SI child. That's what I think. Maybe that's not true, but from what I've seen, that seems to be true for many of them. But yeah, that's it.